In Fallout 4, you can run forever without depleting any of your stamina using the food buff glitch, and in this video I will show you how you can run endlessly from one corner of the map to the other. Hi, I'm Mo and I'm trapped in Fallout. The first thing you will need to do is make sure that you're playing on survival. Now you don't have to be playing on survival in the long term. Once we have set up the glitch, you can revert back to any other difficulty. But step 1 of performing this glitch is you will need to be on survival to begin with. Once you are playing on survival, we will need a handful of items to actually get ourselves started. You will need to have some food item that we will use to simply keep away from being hungry. So as a result of some steps in this glitch, we will become hungry. You will need some food items to revert from being hungry, i.e. you need to be well fed. So you will need some throwaway food items. You will also need very specific food items that will help you to increase your endurance. So I happen to have some food paste, 16 to be exact, and consuming one of these food paste will increase my endurance by 1. I also happen to have some Myla queen steak, which when consumed will increase my endurance by 2. You will also need some purified water and some radaway. If you want to know how you can get your hands on some food paste and some Myla queen steak, let's look at that really quickly. To get your hands on the 16 food paste, you will need to make your way to the Suffolk County Charter School. It is directly west of Quincy Ruins. If you want to get your hands on some Myla Queen steak, there are 3 locations in the base game that are guaranteed to spawn a Myla Queen. The first is the castle, the second is Spectacle Island, and the third is the Murkwater construction site. If you happen to have the DLCs installed, then you can also make your way to Vault 88, where in one of the wings a Myla Queen will actually spawn. But these are the 3/4 guaranteed locations to spawn a Myla Queen, which in turn will allow you to get your hands on some Myla Queen steaks. Now, before we actually start with the glitch, let's do a couple of checkpoints. Notice that I don't have any sort of active bad or positive effects on me, not at the moment anyway. If I look at my special, I have tried to balance all my numbers to the point where everything is either a 4 or a 5, but my endurance is currently set to a 1. The first step of this glitch is to actually sleep in your bed for 24 hours, and the reason why we are doing this is to have 2 things applied to us at the same time. We want to have the well rested bonus, and we also want to become hungry, and as said, you need to make sure that both effects are applied to you at the same time. Now, as a result of sleeping, if only one gets applied, which is most likely to be well rested, just sleep again for 24 hours and both effects should be applied to you. So in my instance, I have become well rested, but I did not become hungry, so I will sleep for another 24 hours. And now notice on the bottom right, I am both hungry and thirsty, and on the top left I am well rested. So as a result of sleeping effectively 48 hours in the game, I now have both things applied to me. So if I look at my status to begin with, notice that I am peckish, which basically means I'm hungry, and I am parched. If I take a look at my special has gone up by 2 for endurance and by 2 for agility. Basically, when you get the well rested bonus, your endurance and your agility both go up by 2. Now, as said, the important thing is I am hungry. What we need to do now is go to our food item, and we now need to eat our throwaway food up until the point where we become properly fed again. So I'm going to do that right now. So right now I am properly fed, and if we go back into our status and double check, notice that my hunger has disappeared and I'm just parched. Now what you need to do is consume food that will increase your endurance. So really quickly, if we have a look at our endurance, it is currently set to 3, and that is because it was set to 1, but then because of well rested it went up by 2. What we're going to do is eat 1 food paste, and notice my endurance has gone up by 1. And now I'm going to eat a Myla Queen steak, and notice my endurance has gone up by 2. So my base endurance at this point is actually 1, but I've applied a bonus of 3, and then I have another 2 on top from the well rested. So if we were to remove the well rested bonus, then this number would currently sit at 4. With this said, now what you need to do is, well, actually before we do this, let's quickly check our status one more time. Notice that on this I have an endurance of +1 from food, and I have an endurance of +2 from the Myla Queen steak. Go back into your inventory, and at this point, before the food effect expires, consume a Radaway. And if you do this right, you should become hungry instantly. So notice now on the top left hand corner it says I am now hungry, and that is a result of basically eating a Radaway. Now let's go back to our status again and have a look. Notice that the effects from the food have now disappeared, i.e. the food paste and the Myla Queen steak. The effects are no longer appearing in my Pip-Boy anymore. However, if we go to our special, notice that the endurance is now still at 2. What this is basically saying is it's actually applied the effect of the endurance permanently to us. And to prove this, what we can do is go back into settings and go back into a non-survival mode. And if we now have a look at our endurance, it is now currently set to +4. The reason it's set +2 on survival mode is because we had other couple of things affecting us negatively, i.e. the Radaway. But our endurance right now has permanently been set to 4. Now, one thing we need to understand is our endurance is actually a base of 1. So if we go into the perks chart, notice our endurance is actually 1. But the food buff glitch has permanently remained on our character. So you can use this loop to increase your endurance as much as you want, and when we get to the magic number of 21, we will be able to run endlessly, i.e. in Fallout 4, if you can manage to get your endurance to 21, your sprint meter will never deplete when you're running. So given that I have switched from normal to survival back to normal, I won't be able to go back to survival anymore, and that's just part of the game mechanic. In Fallout 4, if you switch from survival to non-survival, without the use of console commands, you cannot switch back to survival. So what I'm going to do is load back up a previous game and go into survival, and I'm going to repeat this loop up until the point I get 21 in my endurance. So I have now basically loaded up an old survival game, and again I'm quickly going to check some of my stats. So my endurance is back at 1. So what I'm going to do is just go to sleep up until the point I get both the well rested bonus as well as becoming hungry. So I will see you in a moment. Okay, I have just slept for 48 hours in the game, and again as a result I am hungry, but I am well rested as well, and we can confirm this by looking at our endurance and by just double checking our stats. So again, what I'm going to do is quickly eat some food, and I am now properly fed. So again, I'm going to quickly check my status, so I'm not hungry, and my special is now up to 3 because of the well rested bonus. Now I'm going to have some food paste, some Myla steak, and my endurance is now currently at 6. Going to go back and consume a Radaway, and my endurance has gone to 2. So what we're going to do is repeat this loop while still playing in survival mode. So the first thing we need to do is remove our hunger and parch statuses. So we can do that again by just simply eating food up until the point that is removed. So right now I'm peckish, so I'll have another 2 more, and now I'm properly fed, and I'm just going to have some water, and I'm properly hydrated. So I am now back to a point where I'm not well rested and I do not have any hunger states. So before going to sleep, one more time, let's just check our special. So our special now is at the base 4. So now again we're going to go to sleep again as many times as needed up until the point we get both the well rested and hunger bonuses. So right now again I am hungry and well rested at the same time. So again I'm going to check my endurance is currently sitting at 5, and that is because I'm taking some hit from hunger effectively. So again I'm going to keep eating my throwaway food up until the point I'm not hungry anymore, and there you go. And now I'm going to have some food paste and some steak. Again, I'm going to check my status, so I'm not hungry, but I am getting an endurance buff from both food and the queen steak, and my special is currently sitting at 9. And now I'm going to again have a Radaway to become hungry again instantly. Again, I'm going to check my endurance is currently sitting at 5, and if I check my statuses, I'm hungry and parched, but the food buffs have disappeared. So I have now basically repeated this 2 times in a row while still playing in survival mode. What you want to do is repeat this up until the point you get your endurance all the way up to 21. Another quick note to mention. After setting your endurance to 21, you can still actually further increase it by simply increasing your endurance via the perk chart anyway. So once you hit 21, let's just say you're sort of struggling and you're not able to hit the 21, you can use a food buff up until the point where you sort of need it, and you can get all the remaining points by simply allocating them to your endurance directly via the perk chart. Once you have your endurance set to 21, from this point onwards, you should now be able to run endlessly. So what we're going to do is, first I'm going to have to go into VATS just to sort of deplete my stamina bar, because this glitch only really works when you're actually running. So there happens to be a bloatfly right over there. So I'm going to go into VATS and I'm just going to target it. I don't really care whether I hit it or not. It doesn't really matter. I just want to deplete my bar as much. There you go, it's depleted. And now I'm just going to run, and notice that I am running now, but my stamina bar is not going down, and this is effectively the glitch. The glitch is using the food buff glitch in Fallout 4 to effectively set your stamina bar up to the point where your AP just doesn't go down when you run. Effectively, what the glitch is this: the higher endurance point, the less stamina you use, or rather the less AP points you use when running. And in Fallout 4, 21 just happens to be that golden number that once set, your stamina bar just simply will not go down when you're running. And now as a result, you can basically run endlessly. And the same thing applies if you happen to be sort of in water, in land, wherever. Now this is rather a quick tactic to use, especially when playing in something like survival mode, simply because in survival mode you do tend to do a lot of running and you're definitely not able to fast travel. So as a result, having a stamina bar that would allow you to effectively run forever is a pretty good thing. And now, as said, you don't have to be playing on survival mode also. Once you've actually performed the necessary steps to do this glitch, you can then switch back to normal mode, so any other game difficulty mode, and your stamina bar should continue to effectively never run out when running around. In this video, I went through how you can run forever by using the food buff glitch in Fallout 4. If you found this glitch to be insane, then click on the video you see on the screen right now, where I will show you 7 more insane glitches that you can still use today in Fallout 4. Click on the video you see on the screen now to find out more.